Fairyland, Enchantment and Danger. Fairyland is a world many paranormal researchers believe exists. This video will describe what Fairyland is, what it is like, how to find it and leave it, and how to prevent being abducted and taken there against your will. Fairyland is often thought of as a distant and mysterious land, far removed from our own world. It can be located on many different places, including a floating island, beneath a grassy hill, or within a wet bog. To gain access to Fairyland, one must find the right portal or gate which may lead them there. However, it is almost always impossible for humans to return once they have entered this magical realm. Legends speak of powerful enchantments that keep anyone who enters from ever leaving again unless certain conditions are met first. This has led people to believe that Fairyland's secrets are meant only for fairies and those with special permission from them. Fairyland is a magical realm of eternal enchantment, where life is filled with beauty and joy. The trees are full of vibrant blossoms and luscious fruits throughout the year, while the weather remains mild and pleasant no matter what season. Suffering or hardship does not exist in this realm. Instead, all inhabitants enjoy an abundance of delectable food and drink that surpasses anything on Earth. Furthermore, Fairyland's ethereal atmosphere has been known to bring peace and contentment to those who visit it, for as long as they stay there. In Irish folklore, Fairyland is called Tir na Nog, which translates to the land of the young, and it is believed to be located across the sea from the west coast of Ireland. It is said that only those with magical powers can make this journey and reach this realm. Those who live in this mystical land are said to remain young forever due to an enchantment placed upon them by fairies or other magical beings, and they never experience death as mortals do. In some stories, if someone visits Tir na Nog but then leaves before receiving a blessing from its inhabitants, they will age rapidly upon their return home until they look like an old man or woman even if they were once quite young. The idea of Fairyland being located underground is a belief that dates far back in time. It is thought to be hidden beneath small hills or mounds, which can either be natural formations or ancient burial sites. These hills are known as fairy knolls and knolls, and it is believed that these mounds cover entire cities where fairies dance and play. However, it is said that one should be careful when passing by these mounds at night or during certain turning points of the year, for it is then that the invisible door to Fairyland may open up, luring people into its depths and trapping them in an eternal dance. This fear has been passed down through generations in Scotland, and many still take caution when traveling near these mysterious places. If one is able to find this mysterious door, they must be ready for what lies beyond. The journey through the door and into Fairyland may take a great deal of time and effort, as the path may involve difficult obstacles such as traversing dark tunnels or caverns, or wading through deep water. One should also prepare for any unexpected surprises that might appear along their journey. Some legends tell stories of magical creatures that one might encounter in their quest. However, if all goes well and they are able to make it past these challenges unscathed, at last they will arrive in Fairyland, a world filled with wonder and enchantment. The land of Fairyland is a wondrous place with lush green fields and pastures, filled with sheep peacefully grazing, birds flying through the sky, and orchards full of fruit. The terrain may be flat, but there are plenty of rivers running between lakes to keep things interesting. Grand palaces made of precious metals and gems can be found alongside more ordinary buildings in this magical world. It is often dimly lit by a light similar to twilight, occasionally illuminated by torches for extra effect. This serene landscape is quite unlike anything else you will find on the surface world. In addition to the young men and women who are kidnapped by fairies, there are other people who may also be targeted. Children have been taken by fairies in some cases, and elderly people as well. Fairies may kidnap humans for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's simply for amusement or entertainment purposes, while other times they take humans to use them as servants or slaves. In some instances, the fairy might even be seeking revenge on someone from their own kind that has wronged them in some way. In these cases, an innocent human may end up being taken instead of the guilty party due to miscommunication between the two realms. There is also evidence that suggests that certain individuals with magical powers can make themselves more susceptible to abduction by fairies if they put forth enough effort into doing so. On their wedding day, brides may be taken away from the ceremony before they can share marital intimacy with their spouses. Nursing mothers and midwives are also targeted by fairies for kidnapping, likely because of their special knowledge in caring for newborns. Strong men are kidnapped to provide physical strength and prowess during fairy battles. Musicians, however, are particularly vulnerable to abduction due to their particular skill set. Many different types of music can be used to lure or manipulate humans and non-human creatures alike. To protect themselves against such kidnappings on the day of a wedding, it is wise for couples to take precautions like ensuring there is adequate protection around them at all times. When traveling at night or coming across a fairy path, one should take extra precaution to protect themselves from being caught in a fairy blast. This gust of wind is created by the speed and velocity of trooping fairies as they travel. To avoid being taken away, it is recommended that you throw your left shoe, or any other object such as a hat, knife, or earth from a molehill, into the wind while saying "That's yours, this is mine." According to folklore tales, this has proven successful in causing any objects which have been taken by the fairies to drop back down on the ground. Once someone enters Fairyland, they may find that the entrance has shifted or disappeared altogether, making it impossible for them to escape on their own. To be rescued, they must not consume any of the fairy food or drink offered to them, as these may contain magical properties that will bind them to the realm. Even if they are able to avoid doing so, they must be rescued within 7 years, or else they will remain in Fairyland until the next opportunity arises 7 years later. Those who do manage to leave often find that a significant amount of time has passed in comparison with what was experienced while visiting Fairyland, even if their visit seemed short and fleeting upon leaving. Furthermore, those who have been trapped in Fairyland usually discover a tiny pin piercing through their clothing which needs to be removed before waking from this dreamlike state is possible again. In rural Ireland, it was considered important to avoid building houses or other structures that might block the straight paths used by fairies. It was believed in these areas that any structure that stood in the way of a fairy path could be subject to destruction from an angry fairy. To prevent this from happening, builders were warned not to construct houses or other structures in the western regions where fairies were thought to live. If a builder chose to ignore these warnings and build anyway, potentially causing disruption for the local fairies, then they risked being punished by either being carried away themselves or having objects tossed around inside their house by a powerful blast of wind created by an angry fairy. By being aware of Fairyland and of the Fae, one can hopefully avoid visiting it under unfortunate circumstances.